Welcome to Strategy Unlocked, where CEOs, founders, entrepreneurs, executives, and veterans come together to share the real strategies behind success. This is not theory. This is lived experience applied. From startup founders to boardroom leaders, from veterans to visionaries. If you're scaling or redefining your leadership, you're in the right room. And if you're ready to your voice, sharpen your presence, or learn how to command the room, we work with you through Master Coach Headquarters. Strategy Unlocked is powered by Business Navigators in partnership with Veteran Coaching Network and Master Coach Headquarters. This is where leaders align, voices rise, and strategy is unlocked.
Welcome to today's podcast. My name is Medvegy. I'm the host for Strategy Unlocked. Today, I'm very lucky to have Tim Stewart, aka Coach Papa, on the session today. So, Coach has a lot going on. To be very frank, he's in between, and he's like, "Hey, Luke, I got some time for you. I apologize. Hey, I'm in the car, but listen, you're a vet. I'm a vet. I want to get the message out there." And today, we arranged it where Coach Papa could be on Strategy Unlocked. So, Coach, thanks for coming on Strategy Unlocked today.
Oh, thanks for the invitation. I always look forward to just getting out there. Many years ago, when we were going through our process of personal value statements, mission statements, as we're preparing for the company mission statement, mine came out that my mission is to make a positive difference in the lives of everyone I touch. And this has just given me an opportunity to touch more lives. So I hope today I'll make a positive difference in your life.
I hope so. And the thing about Strategy Unlocked is we also talk about how we can help unlock some strategy with you and your business or how things are going. But we do it because we want to make sure that the audience and our viewers and other folks, it may also help them. But in addition, we would love it if you would share something about how you're unlocking strategy for yourself or maybe as a coach or other folks. And we do this, again, so we can help literally all of our viewers. So with that said, you have coached for over 45 years, over 5,000 folks. And so I have a very deep question for you right out the gate.
Absolutely.
So the question is, what is the most common challenge that some of your clients face, and how do you help them overcome some of those obstacles? Please share that in the veteran line and also maybe in a business or another type of line you like to share. And if it's the same, go ahead.
Well, one of the biggest challenges that I think people in today's society face is they're trying to be somebody they're not. They're constantly, they see other people who are successful and they try to emulate them. They take Tony Robbins courses because they want to be like Tony Robbins. Well, you're not going to be like Tony Robbins. I was good friends with Zig Ziglar, and I still to this day work with the Ziglar family, his son Tom, his daughter Cindy. And their guiding philosophy is if you'll help enough other people get what they want out of life, then you'll automatically get what you want out of life. And that's where I really try to stay my focus. I try to, what are they looking for? And I try to pull off the mask. Why are you concealing this? Why are you hiding this? Why don't you just be who you are and people are going to love you? But so many people try to be something they're not. In this world of fake news and fake profiles, no, we all fit in this world together, but it needs all of us to work within our own skills and capabilities and understand you have a gift. It may not be public speaking, it may not be organization, but you do have a gift. And so we work, I call myself a treasure hunter with my clients, right? We go in and we find out what their gift is and then how they can use that gift to move forward, whether in their employment, if they're an entrepreneur in their life, if they're a veteran coming off of military service, how they can take those gifts and apply them in their transition to civilian life. So that's ultimately with all the things that I do, it all comes down to that one. First, know who you are and be you.
So what you're saying right now, we can have an entire podcast on this one question right now. But to be frank, I actually want to peel the onion back on it just a little bit. So you said something. Don't be that person. You used a term, you said fake. Be yourself. And I think it's in that line. I'm pretty sure I wrote it down, but it's pretty close to what you said.
Right.
So it leaves me to think, peel this onion back a little bit. So are they really being fake? If they're being someone else, are they really being fake? Before you answer that, I want to come back to that. In your process, and when you sit down with folks and you say, let me help them be them, and you're just treasure hunting, what are you doing? What tools or resources or are you leveraging? And I know you have a lot of experience, 45 years, you've seen more than I've learned thus far in some of these things. So what tools or resources are you using to help them be more of that version of themselves?
First of all, that is a great question, and it is kind of deep. But I'm going to answer it with a poem that I wrote recently while recovering from knee replacement surgery. And then I'll expand on that. And it says, when I wake with purpose, clear and true, and I greet the dawn with a brighter view, when fear no longer holds my hand and I have the strength to take a stand, when kindness flows from heart to speech and patience guides the truth I teach, when I can listen and really hear and offer love instead of fear, when mistakes are lessons and not my chains, and growth is worth the growing pains, when I forgive and let anger go and let my inner wisdom show, when I embrace both loss and gain and find the joy inside the rain, when I stand tall in who I am, yet humbly served by fellow man, when I choose courage over pride and lift another to my side, when I become a better me, then we become a better we. And when we become better neighbors. And when we become better neighbors, we have a neighborhood. When we have a better neighborhood, then we have a better community. When we have a better community, then we have a better state. When we have a better state, then we have a better country. And when we have a better country, then we have a better world. But it all begins with me, and it all begins with you. So those 11 things that are listed within that poem, those are the things that I coach from, right? They all get the poem right in the beginning. And then it's like, where do we need to start? A lot of times they'll have a block of somebody who's hurt them or damaged them, and we have to start with forgiveness. But most often when we get into forgiveness, we find out that they've done something in their life that they're having trouble forgiving themselves for. So once we can let go of those blocks, then we can go to work. It may be they need a little more patience, they need a little more kindness. It's easy to be kind until somebody cuts you off in traffic. It's easy to be thoughtful and then listen well until there's too many distractions in your world. So we really work on hammering down into where do we need to start, and they need to tell me that. Once we have that identity, then we start looking at what does success really mean to you. Not what society is, bigger houses, faster cars, more money, and prettier women, but what is your definition of success? And so when we hammer that down and we work down to that, then we can put a plan together because I know what's important to them and I know where they want to go. And so many people have so many self-help books, or as Noah St. John calls them, shelf-help books, that they read through them and they think, wow, that'd be great. If I just do that, then I'll get what I want. Well, if their personality doesn't match the personality of the author, the likelihood of them achieving success from that particular book is slim to none. Right? Get rid of all that stuff. Let's break it down. Who you are, where'd you come from, what are your influences, what are your thoughts, what are your goals, and then we can move forward in a positive way. But so many times it's 2 or 3 sessions before I can get, I like your word of peeling back the onion, but of getting down to what really matters to them. And the most common question I have is why, right? Why? And once I ask why about 8 different times, we start getting down to the root of the problem. And now we have the seeds we can truly plant and start nourishing to grow the life that they're looking for.
That's pretty impressive. And first, thank you for sharing that poem. It's very touching and quite frankly, very apropos. I get it, and I appreciate you sharing that. And I'm going to leverage a couple of terms that I think you're saying is a lot of times in the military, we do mission planning, mission prep, all this stuff. So, and folks, if you're just tuning in or you're listening for the first time, Tim Stewart, Coach Papa, is a Army veteran, 10 years enlisted, 10 plus years or so, and a few days as an officer. And he served our country, and today he's a coach. We're going to share a little more about his services after. But with that said, he shared a beautiful poem that he starts when he's helping coaching folks. He's coached for over 45 years, over 5,000 folks. He's highly qualified and quantified in this area. So, Coach, so with that said, and that poem is very good, And we were talking about peeling the onion back, and that's kind of how you do it. You go through and you bring them down to where they can see the brass tacks. But and you're talking about they're putting constraints and restraints on themselves. And you're saying, hey, let's lift these constraints and restraints. So how are you in doing this? Are you leveraging any tools? Today's AI. Are you leveraging AI at all? Or are you leveraging the old school, hey, let's do this personality assessment because I need to know the way you communicate so I can get to your center of trust? Or what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your own personal opportunities and your own threats that are hindering you? Is this part of your assessment? I'm only asking because I haven't gone through your program. I'm just trying to understand.
I appreciate your thoughts and your questions. You're good at this. And I own a radio station. I know what good looks like. The main tool that I use, I used to have a long-term coaching process with clients, but what I found out was it turns into more hand-holding. And the quicker I can turn them loose, the quicker they can go out and find success and not depend on me for their success. One of the things that drives me nuts when I was coaching high school soccer is in soccer, it's all about the training during practice, and a lot of them perform during the game. But today's coaches, they're out there like joysticking it. Hey, shift right. Hey, pass the ball over there. Hey, they're telling everybody what to do. No, let's teach you what to do and then see what you've learned. So on their first session with someone, we sit down and I give them all the tools they need to start moving down that success line. The second session, I work with a program initially called Combat Brain Training. Today, we're rebranding it into mental performance in increasing the way the mind works, the brain works physically, not mindset, not I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone if people like me, but in working on the actual physically rewiring the brain so it works faster. We slow the world down. So first session, they get the tools. Second session, they get the brain training. Third session, we put together a plan, but then that's it. Now it's up to you. Now, they will have me on retainer so that when they run into a roadblock, they can call me, but I'm not going to handhold on a regular basis anymore because they become dependent on me. And that's not how I create leaders. Leaders have to lead by leading, not by attaching and following. So in the coaching aspect of when somebody is looking, now I'm not going out and looking for a lot more coaching clients. I'm looking for specific coaching clients who are serious about taking that next step. Because so many of them, they were coming to me because somebody else told them, oh, go see Coach Tim, he'll help you out. And it just, like I said, becomes a lot of handhold. The second piece, I do a lot of public speaking. I'm on a lot of stages, just like you are. And in the last couple of years, I've had to back down because of a quadruple bypass and a couple of knee replacement surgeries. But I'm back with a vengeance because I've got a couple of years off and really opened my eyes to what I can do to work with the world. And when I take that poem on stage, I break it down by stanza and we go into each one of those things and give them what they need, but it's up to them. And you know this from leading in the military. So many people have a misunderstood concept of leadership in the military. But I grew up with the definition that leadership is the ability to influence your subordinates to complete an assigned task with minimal supervision, right? And then they think military, minimal supervision. Well, all they see is basic training and Lou Gossett and all of this stuff. But when you're actually out on the field as a commander, you say it one time and it's done. In the civilian world, you say it one time and then you come back and say, that's not what I told you. No, that's not what I told you. And that's why I'm going through this process. I'm giving it to you. You have it, but now you got to build your own house. You can take a hammer and build a house or break somebody's hand, right? I'm giving you the tools. What are you going to do with them?
What I like about hearing from you is something what I would call the military discipline initiative. And in that, your commander's right and left limits, and you execute in between there. So you conduct the mission as long as between these variables. And you're right, I work for a Fortune 500 company. And folks are sometimes afraid to talk higher level up or not, even though it's supposed to be more flat in an organization. In the military, it's not as flat, but you usually have the right people there. And then the commanders usually have someone called their open hours or all these other things, and they allow it to become more flat through trust and communication. There's something called a Johari window. I didn't create it, I've learned it. in my days of training. And in that window, when you create powerful organizations in that window, you set in a center zone, it's supposed to be the big box, where people are coming and they're communicating and they have trust to speak with one another. But when they start pulling themselves out and there's less of that communication, they're in these other smaller boxes and there's no trust in there. And your organization is now fractured. And as a leader, you have to look at it from this perspective. Is it me? Is it them? Is it we? Is it because of people? Is it a process? Is it a system? And I like to say something that I learned in my day. I say, usually for one reason or another, people fail because of 3 reasons. It's due to, quite frankly, they don't care, which is 90% of the time, maybe more, not the reason. Or are they trained? Or are they set up with a proper standard or proper systems to support that training to enable that action to occur in that organization? And what you find out is, and I created a consulting company called the Business Navigators, time out, quick plug. TheBusinessNavigators.com helps you with consulting. We focus on people, process, systems, and we integrate technology. And we help organizations around the $10 million mark up to 60, sometimes $100 million. And we help them 4 to 10x by what we call strategy execution. All right, back to you. So what I will say here, Coach, is that you have a lot of this experience and you've been coaching for such a long time. You've been coaching on the field, and you're coaching folks off the field to execute that discipline initiative like we're talking about. What are some of the commonalities, like a frame or a common phrase to help them be more like himself?
One of the things my old track coach taught me is you have more than you think you have. And it took me to 2 state championships with that phrase in my mind. Jim Ryan was after Roger Bannister broke the barrier of the 4-minute mile. Jim Ryan was the most prolific at it. And Jim Ryan was going to be on the Johnny Carson show. I think I was in 9th grade or maybe 10th grade. And we're from Nebraska, so Johnny Carson was like our right. And I said, Dad, John's going to be on the Johnny Carson show. Dad's like, we're going to be up at 4:30 in the morning. You sure you want to stay up? Yeah, he's going to give his training plan, and I got to write it down. I got to know what he's doing. And he said, okay. But I gave my dad a writing pad in case I missed anything, and I had a writing pad. And he had some other bonehead guest on, and he talked to him for a while, then a commercial, and that guest was on for the next while. And then he said, after the commercial, Jim Ryan's going to come on. He's going to give his plan to all you want to be milers out there. And so another commercial, and he comes on. Jim Ryan comes out, and I'm ready. They're talking about the weather. They're talking about his wife. They're talking about, come on, give me. I'm ready. I'm excited. Well, after the commercial, Jim Ryan's going to give his training plan. So commercial break, and I'm dying. And a commercial comes back, and they play his music, and he goes, all right, Jim, he said, give it to us. How do you train to be a better miler? He says, well, Johnny, I'll tell you. I run till it hurts. And then I run another mile just a little bit faster. Write it down. You get that, Dad? He says, yeah. And just what else? He goes, no, that's it. I run till it hurts. Then I run another mile just a little bit faster. He said, oh, what do you eat? I mean, I'm big on hydration. No, I run till it hurts. And then I run another mile a little bit faster. Well, in today's society, as soon as it starts hurting, we start looking for, relief. We start looking for a way to kill the pain. And a lot of times the way to kill the pain is just stop doing what you're doing. Well, if you want to be successful, you got to break through, right? The pain may be finances. It may be, the ring, whatever the pain is, you got to figure out a way to work through it and work just a little bit harder. So that's part of my process is find out what's their pain, right? Like cold calling. Well, your business thrives on cold calling, Like cold calling, you're in the wrong business. Go hand out cards at Walmart, greeter at Home Depot. But if you want to be successful, then you've got to work through the pain. And, I've coached track for a number of years. That in my talk, every athlete I've ever spoken to, and today with my brain training, when I speak to athletic organizations, it always starts with the mantra, you have more than you think you have. Don't stop when you think you've hit the top through and see what's on the other side.
So you answered like my next questions. No, seriously. No, that's great. So let me flip it back. Something that maybe can help you. Remember Strategy Unlocked. So have you ever heard of Crystal Knows?
No, I don't think so.
You're on LinkedIn. This is how we met. So next time you're on LinkedIn, look up Crystal Knows, K-N-O-W, and Crystal Knows I can tell you the personality assessment of the person you speak with. And that can help them in interviewing for a job, that can help them for sales, that can help them how to communicate, that can help them in so many different, how to write an email, so many more like than you imagine. And you get 5 free a month. So I say those are your silver bullets to use them. Crystal Knows, go check it out. It's that's like I said earlier, but maybe before we came on, through IBMF, and through American Heroes Equine Connection Incorporated. So I'm very involved in the community, both locally and nationally. And what I'm finding is that, AI changing every day. They are, and that's fine. It's not a bad thing. But we should learn maybe 3 of them. We can pick up 3 that can help support our way of thinking, our way of framework, our way of conducting business, and try A/B test them. Try them this week, maybe. And then the next week or the following month, try the and then analysis. Hey, this worked, this didn't work. And you'll out that as you do that, you'll find the tools that work best for you in supporting your business development. But Crystal Knows is a great one. So veterans and execs or anyone out there listening, check out Crystal Knows. A quick plug. So folks, come to Veteran Coaching Network, where we bring organizations and leaders out, like Paul Bickford Solutions, who runs Mastery, or we bring out Q Actional, who is now Sergeant Q, Sergeant Homeless, and now is a multimillionaire. Everything touches. Every business is turned into $1 million. Phenomenal people. He's a veteran of the Marine Corps. And there's so many great organizations out there. We bring it free to you through the Veteran Coaching Network in most cases, whereas it would $20,000 or more to bring one of these individuals to a room. We arguably can say every time you show up, it's about $60,000 to $100,000 worth of value for that 1 to 3 hours that you show up to the Veteran Coaching Network. So check out summit.veteranccoachingnetwork.com. Okay, so folks, go ahead.
I've got a question real quick. You used the cliche phrase earlier, and I'm kind of a cliche nut. You said that's your silver bullet. Do you know the history of silver bullet, what you just said?
Please, go ahead.
Well, in mythology, or what you want to call it, it takes a silver bullet to kill a vampire.
Yes.
Right? The vampire is the bloodsucker, the thing that drives you down. So the silver bullet, in using it correctly, is to take down all the energy drainers, all the bloodsuckers in your world. So that was use of a old standard cliche phrase. So
thank you. I appreciate
just to show you when I listen, I really hear.
No, I appreciate that. I sincerely do. And you hit the nail on the head when you said energy drainers. I was with another veteran, and he's like one of the co-founders and CEOs of called Nashville Analytics. Another plug, Nashville Analytics, a great organization. Go to navigators.com and you can check out Nashville Analytics, part of our ecosystem. Marine Corps vet, great person. And they developed where they can leverage AI agents to help nonprofits almost for free, and help raising also business to analytics. Okay, so anyways, I'm with James over there at Nashville Analytics, and we're having a conversation. And he's, which every day I'm learning something. I learned so much about you today, Coach Papa, but I'm learning every day, I believe, as a veteran, but also as a person, as a father, as a brother, as a being. Every day I have to have this learner mindset. It doesn't matter how many degrees you have on the wall. That was your life, and it taught you maybe you should do more research in this. But the sphere of education, we need to have this learner mindset of everything from YouTube to just all the different educational aspects. I'm in so many different groups because I'm learning every day. I taught myself for the last year how to vibe code. I never vibe code in my life, but I am a big proponent of data analytics. So I will say this. He was sitting down and teaching me, and we're having a class. I said, hey, James, I used to be an extrovert. Like my entire career, I think anyone would bump into me, I was an extrovert. But now, I think I'm more of an introvert. Like I used to get very filled on standing in front of audiences and talking to folks. And he's like, well, sometimes it depends what audience is. I said, you know what, now that you say that, you're right. And he said, well, when you're standing in front of veteran groups, do you get more of a charge? I said, yeah. I had this Wayne County, veteran, there's could be hundreds to thousands of vets are there, and great people like Eric CC runs it, and we had, and vets come together, NMCC and other great vets, Eric's his brother, but anyways, so other great vets come together and they run the parts, and for vets, it's a nonprofit, and they bring in these folks, and we really try to help them in healing, on Veterans Days, with 9/11, all these other events. And I said, when I leave, I feel like, Luke, you're probably not an extrovert anymore, and you're probably not an introvert anymore. He said, you're probably an omnivert. And I'm like, what is that? And he says that, and he tries to explain to me, now listen, I haven't Googled it. Maybe I should. I'm going to do this context here. So
actually, Google Otravert. Just like introvert.
Okay.
Otravert. You'll find out that's probably, it's not an official psychological diagnosis yet, but it does have, in the meeting associated with Otravert, you may find out that's kind of the world.
So it was a great conversation. We're talking about it right now. And so I'll put up, okay, so it is online, but maybe Ultravert another way. So I tried to look up Ultravert, it came back with Omnivert. But to your point, look at this real quickly. So folks, you're listening. We're just talking. We're just having a normal conversation here. And we're having a great conversation with Coach Papa. So if you're interested in knowing more about Coach Papa, here you can. I'm going to put his link over here in the chat. I'm going to highlight it. Okay, grab it again. Let's see here.
You were very active in radio communications during your military career, I'm assuming. Well, and the reason is we pronounce it Papa in the military because the Asians can't say Papa. They can say Papa, but not Papa. So in the phonetic alphabet, P is Papa. The Vietnamese, primarily of the Asian culture, can't pronounce that word correctly. So you could tell if someone was trying to hack your communication. But that's
well, in all fairness, I learned something like 6 languages in the military.
Gotcha.
I have multiple master's degrees and I've worked in over 40 nations in my time. But with that, and I have a speaks like his complete New York accent. He's a cop, so it's very funny. And then you have me. But hey, folks, if you're listening, you're tuning in. I shared about myself, but in all fairness, I'm no different than any other vet today. I mean, the vets are around the world to do the impossible. In fact, the business took on a mantra called I think that's what all veterans do. Businessnavigators.com. Check it out. We try to hire vets, employ them, and utilize them in all different aspects of life, from coaching to even and etc. Hey, but today's not about me. Today's about Coach Papa, and right here, timcoachpapa.com. Check out his website. He's been coaching for over 45 years, impacted over 5,000 folks, and has a great way of doing it. We led into a talk about personalities. Thank you, James, because you added into this way of thinking today that we're talking a little bit about here. So, as a veteran, from your experience, when you transitioned a few moons ago, just a few, but we transitioned. Not calling you old, seasoned, right? But as a few moons ago when you transitioned, there was different resources than there are today.
Oh, absolutely.
Would you mind sharing your mindset in that then and what your thought is a little bit about today? And I want to bring that back to our conversation.
Well, mine lasted about 18 years because I was active duty as a military policeman for 3 years, right during the end of the Vietnam War. But I stayed in the active reserves and then switched over to the Illinois Army National Guard. So I stayed in the Guard and Reserves for about 18 years. Now, that was an interesting time because you had 28 days as a civilian, and then, that weekend you had to always think like a soldier, right? You couldn't show a weekend and say, oh, I'm not a infantry soldier. No, you show up, you got to be infantry ready. And during the 80s, there was what I call the changing of the guard, and that's actually one of the books I've outlined. Because the Guard prior to the 80s was a party. It's where you went to get out of going to Vietnam. in the 80s, we started being responsible to meet the same standards as our active duty counterparts. And it's a good thing we started that because following 9/11, it was quite likely that you were going to be activated for multiple deployments as a National Guard soldier, and you were facing the same. And it was that forward thinking of guys like Colin Powell and guys who were shaping our military who said, hey, these guys in the Guard and Reserve, they're going to be a viable part of our country's defense going forward. And I was part of that era where every year on our annual training, we had to go through an RTEP, RV Readiness Training Evaluation Program, so that they could ensure that we were ready when we got called up. And you were put in 4 different categories. You know, category 1 meant you go, light that fire and get on the plane. Category 2 meant you need an additional 60 days of training for that unit before they're ready to go. Category 3, 90 days of training. Category 4, well, let's just say they never got activated. But so I had 18 years where I was a civilian and a soldier at the same time. But then when I retired, I was with you in the green room. That it was like over my guidon to the next guy, and took their attention from me and put it on him. I walked out the door, got in my Bronco, and drove into the sunset. No fanfare, no anything. So there was not a period of time for me to understand I'm not in the military anymore, right? The people out here respond a little bit differently than the people in there. And it took a while, so it took a while actually. I'm not sure I'm there yet some days, excuse me, but and helping the young, I'm working with a young soldier right now who just got off he's a national state of Illinois, just got back from a 12-month deployment to Africa. And he wasn't in any conflicts or anything, but when he got out, he went right back to college, and there was some issues going on because he had a set schedule every day. He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was protecting. He knew what his mission was. And now he's in college, and there's nobody watching out for him. There's nobody making sure he's getting to class on time. There's nobody making sure he's doing his lessons. And you got to switch that mindset. I like what you said, discipline, right? Individual discipline is hard when you've been used to living within the military world. So helping them transition is a big part of and the brain training, it really does help. This program, originally called Combat Brains, we're now rebranding to Accelerated Mental Performance because people have issue with the word combat in it. But combat just means making rapid decisions in stressful environments to carry them out with confidence. So as we transition to new branding, we're able to bring it into school systems and other worlds and make a difference in people's lives with the same way that we help soldiers transition back into civilian life. So I don't know if I actually answered your question. I did babble pretty good there for a little bit.
No, we were a little bit here. So your transition, like you said, it's been an 18-year ongoing process. And I think that's the norm. I honestly believe it's norm, and why it's norm? Because you've given so much of your life to an organization that most of the world has an idea or concept. They don't know the inner workings. They don't know camaraderie. They don't know, the relationships that are built when someone else's life is put in front of someone else. Like, hey, I'm here to help make sure right and my left flank are protected. You notice I didn't say me, like it's protecting left flank, because that's how the military does it. So you set up your fire base, you're protecting right and left. You're right here in the middle, but you're protecting them. That's right. So when that happens, you're right. And the other ones are called interlocking sectors of fire. They're protecting you. So when you have a system that's based upon trust, an organization based upon trust that has processes and that has a literally down to the infrastructure of his form, where I'm putting my life on the line for you and you're putting your life on the line for me, that's a pretty big deal. Like, and just that and understanding that level goes down into your DNA. Today when I phone and I talk to old vets and friends I've known for 2 decades, it's like I talk to them, and that is something most of the world, or you maybe even corporate America to a degree, it's hard to really replicate or understand. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm sure it's the same with family but that's what it is. It becomes your family.
Wallingham was my platoon sergeant when I was a military policeman back in the 70s. About 6 years ago, we were sitting in Joplin, Missouri, I think, on our way down to Dallas to visit his son. We're at a restaurant. For some reason, he popped in my mind. I wonder if I can find him on social media. So I went out and I looked and I found him within like 2 minutes. And Facebook, your Facebook messages, you can actually call them. So I called him and he answered. He goes, "This is Gary." He goes, "Tim?" I go, "What's up, brother?" He goes, "How are you doing?" I said, "Well, I retired," and there was a pause. "You did what?" I mean, I was that guy that when I got out, figured I'd never put on a uniform again because I was a little bit of a rebel during my active duty days, and to figure out that I got inspired and motivated to move not just through OCS, but to have a very distinguished career in the military. And if you go to that link that Luke has put up at coachpapa.com, that's actually my link tree. The link on my social media, you'll see a calendar on there if you want to pick a date and have a conversation. But if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see my current bio. You'll see my military bio, all the things, the few medals they pinned on me. But then you'll see some profile pics of the world that I live in. And you'll also notice in there that I was selected to be part of Who's Who in America in 2022, just from my coaching practice and coaching style. And that's, I flash back, I didn't mention this. One thing that is really different about my coaching, most of the people who can afford to hire a coach in this day and age, they don't really need a coach. They need a pat on the back and a kick in the backside. The people who really need a coach most often can't afford it. And that's the market I work with. The people who really need it and are willing to do the people I work with. And it's such somebody who's been struggling most of their life to all of a sudden just start hitting their stride and things start happening. The garage door guy, I started with him when he lost a job working for another garage door company because they closed up, and he started his own garage company. Now, he's not the guy that you would picture running his own company. He's a great mechanic. He was that guy, a great, never thought of him as a leader. I've coached him for about a year and a half, and we got him over to a point where he was making probably $100,000 a year with his garage door company. And then we went different directions. About 4 months ago, he showed up at a networking event, and he's got like 9-10 employees. He's one of the most successful garage door companies in the area. And, he stood up, why? He says, it's what we did, so many years ago. That's just proof. When you create a leader, you create life for their family. You create success for their community. When you create a follower, you just gotta, that's who's gonna maybe lean on everything you say or do, but they're not gonna change the world. And I'm out here to change the world. I'm not here to hold hands or make somebody. I love making new leaders, creating new leaders, and just helping them their stride and change the world.
So Coach Papa is out there, folks, to help you in your personal life and journey today to change and make the impossible that you see, but make it possible. Maybe that's 4Xing, 10Xing. Maybe it's a better relationship in your family. Maybe it is, how do I overcome this you may see as a mountain? He'll say it's a molehill, and you just need to step over it. You don't need to climb it. So folks, check out Coach Papa. His link is at the bottom, www.timcoachpapa. It's his tree. Go to the bottom, book an appointment with him today. And this is vets. This is folks who need to literally maybe open their eyes and say, hey, what has worked for me thus far is not working. Well, maybe I need someone to try it with. Call Coach Papa. He's there. He's going to help you out.
You just brought up one of the things, it's attributed when he said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. I have a completely different definition of insanity. Coach Papa, as you say, Coach Papa says insanity is doing something that works and not doing it again, right? We've all done something that works. We're all programmed for success at the exact same moment in time. We're all programmed for success during potty training, and here's why. You have to have a specific target to hit. You got to have a mentor coach who's going to help you hit that target, but is not going to do it for you. You must be consistent in your efforts. You must learn to celebrate success, and you kind of got to let failure roll on down your leg. We've all been successful because I'm guessing all of you watching today are potty trained. And if you've done it once, you can do it again. And, we can help there if you're serious the next step in your life, the next moment of success. So,
Love that. Okay, so just want to circle back, close this out. So, like we talked earlier, there's introvert, omnivert, new-ish. Adding most people know extrovert is someone who feels energized by being around people. And this is a abbreviated definition here. And then introvert is usually it's important to, let's see here, are the opposite of extroverts in that they recharge by spending time alone and quiet. But a omnivert is more modern, less commonly used term. It refers to someone who is a mix of both introvert and extrovert. The idea is that they can switch between two depending on the situation and mood. Omniverts may feel energized socializing at times, but need their alone time to recharge and make them flexible in their social needs. Folks, if you're listening, it's okay. Just be you. That's what Coach Papa would say. Be you, but know your strengths, know your weaknesses, and work towards your strengths. So when I get ready to talk to a large audience, and this is just a strategy unlock moment, I do Tai Chi twice a week. I do mindfulness usually 3 to 4 times a week. And that is just me, just take a moment, and sometimes it's praying, just me being in a space alone, and just reflection. But when I do that, I get ready to talk to a large audience of folks. I make sure my battery's charged. I make sure I have enough sleep. I make sure I ate the right things the night before, and I'm hydrated properly. I know what the weather is the next day. I dress according to the weather. Usually I speak outside with large groups. So when that happens in front of a podium, I make sure that I'm dressed appropriately for that day. I usually know where the sun is rising, the sun is setting before I even show up. So if I have to wear specs or something, I'll do it, make sure that I can still speak and connect with the audience. But folks, that's it. Learn how to connect with the audience. If I'm going to speak to an audience of a bunch of CEOs at a convention, I'm going to speak to them differently when I'm speaking to a bunch of folks who are sitting in front of an organization or in front of a veteran park. It's different. It is different. I get recharged when I speak to a bunch of vets because it's something I've been doing for over 2 decades. To my DNA. A bunch of CEOs, I'm charged. It's good. I'm there. I'm helping them. But let me tell you, the folks who put their life on the line, represents less than 1% of our nation, and the folks who've really said, "Hey, I'm here to other 99%." Are the ones I connect the most with, and it's because I'm one of them. Tim Stewart, Coach Papa is one of them. That's what we're here talking about today, folks. All right, so thank you for attending the Strategy Unlocked. If you give me a chance, I'm going to play a video. Before I do, Coach Papa, any last words you want to say in addition? Where can they find you again?
Well, go to www.timcoachpapa.com. It's on the page. That has all my social media, LinkedIn, FaceTime. I don't use TikTok not all that much, but they're on there. It's got my calendar. You don't have to call me to set an appointment. Just go on my calendar, pick a time, and we can Zoom. If you're close to McHenry County, Illinois, we can have coffee in person. But it also, you'll be able to find out more about me to say, is this somebody I need to or want to talk to? And in this moment of elections, I always finish with, my name is Tim Stewart. I am Coach Papa, and I do approve this message. Now it's time for you to get off the bench and get back in the game.
Love it. Let me, folks, please check out Unlocked on Facebook. That's at the top. Please also check us out on YouTube. Like us, share on YouTube. Coach, please check us out on YouTube as well. Like us there as well. When we get this published, let's shoot it out to the audience together. And then, folks, stay tuned.
There's a moment right before the lights come on, when preparation meets opportunity, when your voice finally matters. This is where leaders stop sitting in the audience and start commanding the room. Veterans, founders, executives, people who've done the work and are ready to be heard. No hype, no noise, just clarity, confidence, and execution. If you're ready to step on stage, own the moment, and unlock what's next. Welcome to Strategy Unlocked. Command the room.
Powered by the Master Coach Headquarters and the Business Navigators.